Louis Malle resumed so that he had worked as an assistant to filmmaker Robert Bresson. When Malle was hired by underwater explorer Jacques-Yves Cousteau to be a camera operator on the Calypso, Cousteau soon promoted him to be co-director of The Silent World years later. Cousteau called Malle the best underwater cameraman he ever had. Viaggio Celebrity presents Top 20 Louis Malle films. Number 20. Calcutta, 1969. With minimal narration by the director and very little context, this is a kaleidoscope of stunning visuals from Calcutta, a city of 8 million in the late 1960s, rich and poor, exotic and mundane, secular and religious, children and adults, animate and inanimate. Given only the images, the viewer can read any meaning she or he wants into the film. Spend a few hours strolling the crowded, filth-infested lanes of Calcutta with Louis Malle's roving camera and take in the nightmarish reality that results from millions of people living in the filthiest of circumstances. Narration in this film is minimal, and images tell the story, whether picture of the sick and dying stuffing their mouths in a death house or children rooting around in the muddy garbage with hawks. This powerful immersion in a city jammed with ruthless humans struggling for survival is powerful and unrelenting. Number 19. Vive le Tour, 1962. If you are a fan of cycling and fascinated with bicycle race history, this is a must-see short film. Shown in the film are a number of the all-time great racers, such as Jacques Anquetil. But this film does not focus on heroes by any means. Most of the footage shows the and seldom considered and rarely seen moments which made this famous race such a unique part of French culture. We can observe groups of racers dashing into small cafes along the route where they literally steal any glass bottles of beer or wine, which they can carry away stuffed in their jersey pockets. Then they share their loot with riders of opposing team as they all ride on. Number 18. A Very Private Affair, 1962. Brigitte Bardot, the French actress of the 1960s, starred in this semi-biographical film of her life. 18-year-old Jill enjoys a comfortable upper-class existence with her widowed mother in Switzerland and develops a crush on Fabio, a friend's husband. She heads off to Paris to become a model and dancer. Soon, Jill is discovered by a film producer and made into a huge movie star. The pressure and annoyances of fame take their toll on her, and she returns to Switzerland to recuperate. Jill has an affair with the now divorced Fabio. The press continues to hound her, leading to more complications in her private life. French actor Michael Oakley dubs Marcello Mastroianni's voice in French. Number 17. Alamo Bay, 1985. A despondent Vietnam veteran in danger of losing his livelihood is pushed to the edge when he sees Vietnamese immigrants moving into the fishing industry in a Texas Bay town. As outlined by show business trade paper Variety, the movie is based on the conflict between refugee Vietnamese and local fisherfolk around Galveston Bay, Texas. Film critic Roger Ebert stated the stories were about a blood feud on the Texas Gulf between the veteran local shrimp fishermen and new arrivals from Vietnam who were, the locals said, invading their traditional grounds and spoiling the fishing. Number 16. Phantom India, 1969. Phantom India, Reflection on a Journey, is an epic 7-part cine essay-log in which we are shown the people, places, practices, custom, gods, celebration, festival, rituals, cultures, mythology, tradition, caste, religions, gurus, minorities, food, art, economics, politics, and various ways of life found throughout India, as seen through the camera lens of Louis Malle. Malle does not remove himself from the documentary in an objective way. Rather, we are poetically led through the documentary as if experiencing India from the mind of Malle himself, much like Chris Marker but with more vanity. It is absolutely fascinating being immersed in late 60s India, and seeing it through the reflection of Malle makes it interesting, entertaining, and at times even humorous. Number 15. May Fools, 1990. During the events of May 1968 in France, different worldviews of conflicting relatives are collided in their family estate. Like Vanya in Malle's last film, Milou never left the family estate. His mother dies during the May 1968 student uprising in Paris. The brother, who is the London correspondent for Le Monde, keeps turning up the volume of the radio for the latest news. A deceased sister's interest in the estate is represented by a niece, who is an antique dealer who is most interested in grandmother's emerald ring that Milou's daughter Camille has already slipped on her finger. A non-relative, a truck driver who can't deliver his load of tomatoes in Paris, brings a nephew who was part of the uprising. Everyone is on strike and the matriarch can't be buried. Number 14. Viva Maria, 1965. The former Irish terrorist Maria II joins the vaudeville act of the French singer Maria I in Central America in 1907. During their first performance on stage, they invent by accident the striptease and become local stars. When they come across a local rebellion, Maria I falls in love with the leader Flores. When he is mortally wounded, she promises him to continue the revolution against the military, the capitalist, and the church. Maria mistakenly identifies a Skyton Babbitt model 1907 machine gun as a Vickers machine gun. However, it really is a Vickers Mark machine gun. The Skyton Babbitt machine gun is a fictional name. Number 13. Damage, 1992. A member of parliament falls passionately in love with his son's fiancée. They pursue their affair with obsessive abandon despite the dangers of discovery and what it would do to his complacent life and his son. Completely obsessed, he wants to give up his current lifestyle to be with her. She has no intention of allowing him to do this, preferring to have her marriage to the son as a cover. They are eventually discovered and must deal with the damage, based on the novel by Josephine Hart. Actor Rupert Graves, who plays Martin Fleming, son of Dr. Stephen Fleming, is only 5 years younger than Miranda Richardson and is 15 years younger than Irons, who both play his parents. Number 12. The Lovers, 1958. The bored and empty upper-class Jane Turnier lives in a manor with many servants in the countryside of Dijon, with her husband Henry Turnier and their daughter Catherine. Henry is the editor of the Burgundy Monitor and has been married to Jean for 8 years. But he does pay attention to his wife. Jean travels frequently to the house of her childhood friend Maggie in Paris to meet her lover, the famous polo player Raoul Flos. One day Henry suspects of the frequent trips of Jean to Paris and invites Maggie and Raoul Flos to have dinner and spend the weekend in his mansion. While driving back home from Paris, Jean's car breaks down and the archaeologist Bernard, who is going to Montmartre to visit a professor, gives a ride to Jean. Henry invites Bernard to stay with them. Number 11. Lacombe Lucien, 1974. A small town in the southwest of France, summer of 1944. Having failed to join the resistance, the 18-year-old Lucien Lacombe whose father is a prisoner in Germany and whose mother dates her employer, works for the German police. He then meets Franz Horn, the daughter of a rich Jewish tailor. The film was considered rather controversial at the time as it saw a more accurate depiction of the ratio of collaborators to resistance, unlike many other French-produced films. That suggests there were very few collaborators due to the sense of betrayal felt.